some of that shit though. Like at the beginning while I was killing that shit, you know why I started pushing.
His energy is infectious.
I want to say I'm sorry that those people didn't see the benefits that you bring with your energy.
You must got something against me. What it is? What's all the attention? They just see them changing, nigga. I be out by myself thinking about number light. How the fuck I can change it, nigga? How I'm living this danger, nigga.
His determination is endless.
With that bang, a diamond dangling. Won't touch shit, drop some, take it. Before the rap, I knew I was amazing. I can sell anything, you lazy. Before I give up, I stick up the shit and get rich off of robbing, janking, and taking.
And his motivation is unrivaled.
Country boy won't from, I made it, and I ain't even made it where I wanna make it. That what made the shit so damn crazy. Seeing niggas in slick competition.
So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Christian. Christian is a guy that, man, he has a story of determination unlike any other in the football world. Anytime you can say it took a tornado to slow you down.
I still wouldn't think. But at that time, it was really coming down. Like I couldn't see. I'm about to get blown over. We got 60-mile-per-hour winds. We got trees flying in the air. It's chaos. And I'm just blessed that I was able to get them in there and get them saved. Yes, I'm upset.
You certainly have a story to tell. I mean, with that being said, please help me welcome running back Christian Caviness, who will be looking to the XFL in 2023 for his next opportunity. How's it going, Christian?
Yeah,
what's up? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? What up, Skinny? How you doing, boy?
Real Boogie. He said Christian. He said Christian. I'm like, man, I don't remember.
Yeah, you remind me of Boogie. Yeah.
Boogie, yeah.
What's up, my boy? I'm blessed, bro. Hey, I just want to say congratulations, baby boy. I'm proud of you. I knew you was going to do it first day of camp. You remember the conversation me, you, and Lowe's had. So just keep going, keep grinding, bro. And remember, eat them boys up because they ain't ready for you.
I got you, bro. I got you for real. I just told him, I was like, yeah, Boogie he used to make me stretch. He used to make everybody on the team stretch. And we would have to
bro almost fought me. The first time I put him in the stretch, bro looked at me. He's like, what you doing? I'm like, bro, you're going to run faster. Trust me.
Ever since then, I've been necessarily doing the little things, though, bro. So I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Without any more ado, I'm going to let you get out of here and have the rest of your day to yourself. And once again, man, congratulations. Super excited for you. Definitely keep in touch, man. We'll get an article written on you and some other things up.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Sam. Boogie, y'all have a great one. Appreciate you for having me again. This is a blessing.
Absolutely, man.
Blessing, brother.
All right.
Best of luck. Bro. All right. So once again, that was Aaron Dilworth. Super excited to talk to him. Crazy small world occurrence that you guys happen to play together. So super excited to talk to you as well, Christian. As you know, we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. So, without any more, beating around the bush, I wanted you to start off with an introduction into yourself, and then we'll go and fill in the details along the way.
Well, first and foremost, happy birthday to your youngest. And if I don't get a chance to say happy birthday to your oldest, happy birthday to your oldest. I want to say that automatically. Again, my name is Christian Boogie Caviness. Call me Boogie because I like to dance. I like to shake people. So it's a blessing to be on Shady Sports. I thank you so much, and I thank you for wanting to even express and tell my story. So bless you for having me.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you so much for saying happy birthday to my kids. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
As you can see, I'm huge Philadelphia fan. So yesterday, the Stars were able to collect the victory against the Generals. And the same day, my youngest turned 1. And then next Sunday, my oldest turns 10, the day that I hope the Stars take the championship game in the USFL.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
It definitely is. So I always like to start with one question. When did you get involved in organized football, and what inspired you to play the game?
I probably started playing organized football about 13. And what happened was I came from a broken home situation. So I was kind of like just walking around bored, didn't really know what to do, saw kids throwing around football. And mind you, I couldn't throw football at the beginning, and just kind of got accustomed to it, really enjoyed it. And then the backstory behind it was my dad played in the NFL for a little bit, and he played for Atlanta Falcons. He got picked up on a tryout offer, played at Texas Southern. And that's what made me want to play ball. And then I ended up finding love for it myself. I just feel at peace out there. I feel happy. I feel free. And it's just, I don't know. It's just an emotion you can't really explain. It's just collective. I just feel like I'm at home.
You don't even need to explain, man. I can understand. I'm not an athlete, but I am a drag racer, and that's my spot. When I'm behind the wheel of a car on the strip, I feel that for sure. So
You still an athlete, man. You still an athlete.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So you just spoke about it. Your dad played for the Atlanta Falcons for a little bit. Did you grow up as an Atlanta Falcons fan?
For a small time, but I was more so a Minnesota Vikings fan. I'm a huge Vikings fan. Huge Vikings fan. Robert Williams, John Randall, Dante Culpepper. Of course, you got Sante Shenko. You got Randy Moss, of course, Chris Carter. I can go on. I love that team. You know, that's my squad. That's probably where the Wideback came from, watching Randy Moss and then Adrian Peterson. Those are my two favorite. That's a password. I won't tell y'all to what, but that's a password.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So out of curiosity, what made you a Minnesota Vikings fan?
It happened early, honestly. It was the game. It was the Mike Freeman game. Whenever Mike Freeman went up and caught that ball off the side of the hip. And I still remember that. I was only like 4 or 5, but for some reason I remember that. And it was just the emotion that Randy Moss was showing. You know, just like he was just like, you know, I want this. Just how he's getting the crowd hype, everything. I'm just like, man, I want that. You know, like that's just, you know, I want that. Like that just seems so fun. And that's just what drew me to the game, honestly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. My first memory as a football fan is a little bit older than that, but I actually remember watching the first ever XFL game with my parents in 2001. I think I was about 13, 14 at the time. And I remember the first scrum, like where the players used to get up off their backs and fight for the ball. Man, I mean, when I heard the XFL was coming back in 2020, I was so excited. And then when it shut down and we, are now coming back with the third one, man, it was like a roller coaster of emotions the whole way.
Absolutely.
Did you follow the 2020 version of the XFL?
Yes, I did. I followed it deeply. I even actually tried to get myself in there if there was a way, and it was just hard to really get any contact. I did have a few emails with with the owner, Oliver Luck, and it was just kind of hard at the time, with COVID and then just protocol. So it was just hard for me to even try to get in there. But it was definitely a great league to follow. I wish it would have went on more. It was just, honestly, that's football to me. That's real football.
Agreed.
Like smash mouth, getting after it, seeing it in all levels and all aspects. That's football to me.
Agreed. And I'm going to say something yet again. I like to say controversial stuff, apparently, this is not my intention. It just comes out this way. But I personally prefer to watch spring football over NFL football, despite everything you see behind me. Because personally, in my mind, the guys playing in spring football and indoor football, they're hungrier. They want that opportunity. They want to make it to the next level. They're going to give you everything they got on every single play because that is their football life at stake. Versus an NFL player, they've already made it. They're in the league. They've got money in the bank. They're not scratching by to make it happen like men like yourself or Aaron that are giving it their all every day to make it work.
Yes, sir.
So getting back to the point, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Have you always played that kind of wide back position, as Deebo Samuel called it? I mean, at 6 foot 190, you look like a spitting image of a wide receiver to me, and yet you're talking about playing running back.
Honestly, yes. I kind of probably always did something like that, but I started off as a tight end, and the tight end kind of helped me. Kind of helped with my fullback. I was a tight end fullback for the longest time. And honestly, I didn't really like it because I was undersized. I really wasn't that big of a guy. I mean, fullback, yes, I could play that, but tight end, I'm really undersized. I enjoyed it, but once I started losing weight and actually playing a position that I'm more familiar with, such as when I was playing in middle school and high school, running back, it was easier. And then being able to have to run routes and be much more versatile, that's where the wide receiver came in. So it was much more easier. And I much more prefer playing running back and receiver. And so, yes, that was something that I've always been kind of accustomed to. And I've always looked at versatility because that's what makes the game tick. You just can't be one dimensional in this game or you ain't going to get no play time. And you better know how to block.
100%, 100%, especially at running back. If you can't pass block, good luck getting on the field, man.
Exactly. Because if that left tackle go down, you are now the left tackle.
Exactly. And your quarterback's gonna be pissed if he gets hit and you're the man because responsible.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about your high school career and what you were able to do on the field that helped you play at the collegiate level.
My high school career, honestly, wasn't as eventful as people would think. I had a very bad home situation, so that took away from me being on the field a lot. And the times that I was on the field, I can say I was a scrub. I really wasn't that good. I was still learning the game. But it took to about my junior year for it to finally click in high school. I was running the ball, playing running back, and scored three touchdowns in a game against Ford City. And all three got called back because our guard wanted to hold. But at that time, it just started to click. And I'm just like, okay, I can do this. It's something easier. But being on the field in high school, it was hard due to a very, very bad home situation. Didn't have a supporting family cast. Didn't have much friends. There really wasn't no potential around me. There wasn't much belief that I'd be anything. So it was just one of those times where I had to figure out what I wanted to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just another indicator of how determined you were to make it to where you're at. And another reason why I wanted to speak with you so much. Your story is amazing, man. I mean, to hear everything you've been through and to see that you're still giving it your all to continue to make your dreams come true is exactly the kind of stories we want to talk about here.
Oh, bless you deeply.
Absolutely. And it's the same to you. Talk to me about your recruitment process and what led you to Erie Community College.
My recruitment process was odd. I was looking at multiple JUCOs. I was looking at Georgia Military, Lackawanna, Monroe, Erie Community College, and there was one more, but Kiski Prep. And there were so many things going in. Basically, didn't really have good SAT scores, so that was hindering me to get into a lot of schools. So that's where ECC came about, and I went up there during the recruiting process, and it was an odd recruiting. Really wasn't much, like big glamour, all this. It was just very odd. It was more so strict. It was strict to the point, and it was more so simple. So I guess it would have odd. It was just more so simple, just very to the point. This is what we do. This is where you work out. This is where you study hall, this and that. And then when I met my head coach, that's probably where it kind of had me buy in, because this type of man that he was, it was that I had to show him that I can play. Because as he said, he's like, I want you, but I don't need you. I'd like to have you, but I don't need you. That was literally how it went in the recruiting meeting. He said it right to my face. He's like, I'd like to have you, but I don't need you. He's like, I want you, but I don't need you. And I said, okay, I completely understand that. So what made me come in there was it was the first game. I went out there. It was a homecoming game that needed to get into the playoffs. And when I went out there, player by the name of Davon Mason, who's still my best friend today, till today. Congrats, committed to the French University. I'm glad that you're not sitting on the couch no more. He ran by me and he said, "Hey, you gonna be coming up there to play?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "This is what I want to tell you." He's like, just look at this field. He's like, you get to look at the Buffalo Bills field every day, because we were right across the street from the Buffalo Bills Stadium and we practiced in there during spring ball. So he's like, if this doesn't motivate you to get to where you want to be, then I don't know what it is. And that's honestly what sold me, knowing that I'm practicing inside the Bills facility, knowing that I'm doing that every day, and I'm looking at where I want to be. It's literally right there in my face. So that's what made me commit there. If it was anywhere else, I don't think I'd go. Yes, Lackawanna puts a lot of guys in the NFL, but I wanted somewhere where I could build my own legacy.
Understandable. I was going to say, I've heard of Lackawanna before. They definitely have some players out there for sure. But at the same time, like you said, you wanted to build your own legacy, and definitely, I mean, you paved your own way for sure.
Oh, bless you.
So while at Erie Community College, as we talked about off camera, you didn't necessarily receive the playing time that either of us think you deserved. Tell me how this tested your mentality as a player, knowing you were working your ass off to sit on the bench more often than not. How did you stay motivated to find success through all of that?
Well, to any player in JUCO, JUCO
junior college football is not for anybody. So to any player in junior college, I salute you. I know how hard it is. I know at times you're better than the guy in front of you. I know that at times, you're on time. You're in the classroom. You're in meetings. You know your opponent. You know everything. You don't get the show. You got to be more mentally tough. Don't lose the love for the game. Stay hungry. Stay active. Stay focused on the long goal and not the short-term goal. Because 2 years of your life isn't going to be the final 6. Isn't going to be the final 10, the final 20. So I definitely understand. And it was a hard thing for me. Every day going in there, outworking the starters, outworking them, outworking the reserves, outworking recruits that come in, outworking guys that they sent off to college or D1s, outworking them and telling them I'm outworking them, showing them outworking them. Not to brag, but when it comes to my work, I show it. So if anyone doubts me, I say, before you doubt me, come work with me. And every person that's worked with me, not many of them stay with me. I work very hard because I know what I want and I know what it takes. And to know that I wasn't able to showcase that and help my team win, it was a confidence, it was a confidence divider. It definitely hit me hard. And I don't point fingers. I just know that during the time I had to use the carries that were given. At one point I led the nation in kick return yards, and in the average. So I'm blessed for that. I was fifth on my time. I was fifth on my team, all purpose. It could have been more, but I'm not going to stress about it. I'm blessed that I was able to even get that opportunity. We had great players in front of us, Seven Turpin, John Yaks, Khalil Horton, and it was just a loaded backfield at the time. My running backs coach, he loved me, but as I said, it was just a loaded backfield. So whatever I could get in, I would, and I would show out. So yeah, JUCO is something that I tell anyone: if you go, make sure that you believe in yourself, and make sure you believe in yourself. You become mentally tough, because JUCO will honestly prepare you for life more than high school will.
That's fair. I would definitely say that's fair. There's a lot more. Competition is not really the word I'm looking for, but yeah, competition. There's just a whole lot more to it in JUCO level than there is even at the D1 level. I think they let you kind of focus on football at the D1 level versus at JUCO. You might be working a job and going to class and trying to play football to make it work.
Yes. I worked 2 jobs along with paying rent, taking a bus to school. I would work an overnight job just to get off, just to hit lifts at 7 in-the-morning, then have class at 8. And then, it's just, it was just like that. Right after practice, I'm going right back to work. Only off day I had was Saturdays because we had games. And if I had to call an extra day off if we travel out of town, then I have Saturday, Sunday off. So yes, I was working in college. I was working in junior college, and it was hard, man. From freshman and sophomore year, it was very hard, but I still got it done, still maintained a 3.0 and graduated top my class.
Absolutely. Like I said, just throughout this interview, you're going to see indicators of this man's determination and motivation. And this is just another one of them. I mean, this guy literally worked 2 jobs to put himself through college in order to get an opportunity to play football. And I mean, you don't do that unless you love the game. So, I mean,
there was many times I wanted to give up. There's a lot of times I was asking myself, like, is it worth it? Am I going to do it? And every time I wanted to give up, it just didn't happen. It just couldn't happen. Every time I did, I'd either go on a run, hit some push-ups, or just go to the weight room or go to the field. And in Buffalo, it didn't really bother me about the weather. I'm an Atlanta guy, so snow was new to me, but I trained in it. I ran in it. It didn't bother me. So it was just get to work. You play football in all season, so no matter what I can, no matter what I can do to get ahead of someone or get on top of someone or even just better myself, I'll do it.
Exactly. I mean, you're playing running back. You can't be scared of snow. You're going to be the guy called upon when the game gets sloppy. So it makes perfect sense.
Yes, sir.
So later on, you move on from Erie and head to Bethany College, correct?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about what led to your decision to ultimately leave Erie and head to a new opportunity.
Well, of course I graduated, but with Bethany, that kind of found me. I saw my positions coach at the time. He was receivers coach. He got the job at Bethany, and I reached out and said, hey, I was like, congratulations. It'd be crazy if I played for you. you know. And at the time, I didn't have film. I honestly thought football was done because I didn't play it down. It was honestly the hardest thing in my life. I cried after the season. I was very low, battled depression at the time. It was very bad for me. So when Bethany came Arise, Clarence Anderson was my receivers coach, and he came up to me and just said, "Hey, you know, I like your film. I like this." And I said, "Coach, it's mainly practice film. I only have just kick return clips and maybe a few carries." And he said, "It doesn't matter. I see what you can do." And to me, that felt good to know that someone saw something that I didn't, because I thought, like, okay, I'm not that good. I'm average. Like I'm saying, I emailed 675 coaches, 896 assistants, 436 recruiting directors. I remember those numbers exactly. And out of the collective 625 that got back to me, y'all told me I was too slow, too old, not good enough, probably won't make it, give up, you're wasting your time, there ain't gonna be no draft day for you, stop living a fairy tale. And a lot of that hurt. And when Coach Anderson said I can come play, I just said, okay. It was a hasty decision. I just said, okay, cool, I'm up and go. And it was worth it. I'll tell you that. I was the best running back on the team, one of the top players on the team. And it was probably a breath of fresh air, because I was in a place where I was wanted instead of I felt like I was a burden. I was in a place where I could showcase my skills and help the team and be helped as well. I don't mind taking criticism. If it's going to help me, cool, break me down so I can build myself back up. You know, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And it came to a point to where whenever I was leaving to go up there, my head coach told me I was making a bad decision. He says, "You know what? You're making a very, very bad decision." I said, "Why?" So he's like, "You know, you didn't play. You have great grades, but you just didn't play. They don't know the type of player that you're going to get up there." And I was upset about it, but I told him, I said, "You know what? I'm a bet on myself." And he said, "Okay." He says, "I wish you the best." And then that's that. I signed my letter of intent. I took my recruiting trip. The recruiting trip, Kansas was a shock because I don't really know much about Kansas except for KU and, you know, K-State football. And then, of course, the Wizard of Oz, because we all saw that. But it's hot. I'll tell you that. It's hotter than Atlanta, bro. I don't know what it is, but this heat a little different. Lynchburg, it's NAIA. It's still a D1. We do have divisions. We got D1 and D2. It was different. It's small. It's a big school, but it's in a small town of Lynchburg, Kansas. Literally, population has to be under 2,500 or maybe 3,500. So everybody know everybody. There's only a Subway and a Pizza Hut and a grocery store and 2 gas stations.
Wow.
Yeah, it's there's some shops and some other little places, but mainly everyone drives like 30 minutes to town in Salina.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Talk about culture shock coming from Atlanta. That's
man.
So in another interview you did with NFL Draft Diamonds, by the way, if you haven't heard of that site, killer interviews on that site. Go check them out today for sure. Nothing but respect for what they do and what they're able to cover. But anyway, back to the point. You mentioned you spent time focusing on your mentality, trying to work on removing natural triggers as a human being and stay more focused on what's important. I thought this was something that was really important to highlight because you're looking at yourself from so many different angles. I mean, you're trying to improve yourself as a player, you're trying to improve your conditioning, you're trying to learn a playbook, and you're even going as far as trying to prove yourself as a human being to make yourself a better football player on the field. Talk to me about your process here.
Well, with the natural triggers, it was mainly being patient and my anger, you know, wanting things my way. You know, I hold myself at a high standard, as we all do, at a high pinnacle. And at the time, I was very angry because things weren't going my way. You know, I want to be playing in the NFL. I wanted to be doing the things I want to be doing, and it wasn't. So I had to be more patient. So I had to ask myself, am I ready? So I took a step and just watched all my game film and everything that I did and all that. And honestly, I wasn't ready. So I understood why it wasn't happening. So the anger part came in and wanting it my way. So what I did was took as I said, took a step back, deep breath, and started co-analyzing myself and started finding things to make me fall back in love with the game and back in love with myself. In tune, that's where I found poetry, of course. Well, I've always been writing poetry, but I dove back into it. So poetry is something that's huge for me. It, it speaks to me, and honestly, that's the way that I get a lot of things out. And then of course, music. I don't write music, but I listen to it. My favorite artist is Sam Cooke. I love listening to Sam Cooke, old back in the 40s to 60s. Very, very beautiful type of musician. So I listen to him, and a lot of that helps me. So with that, it humbled me. It brought a lot more patience and a lot more understanding that time is ticking, but time is precious. So enjoy every moment you have.
So if you had to pick one aspect of your game week preparation and only focus on that one thing, like every week for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Mental preparation and having my body's body stability. Because if you have a stable body, you can be controlled in any instance. If you know exactly when your body's tired, you good. You know exactly when your body's up and warm, cool. So body stability is huge. The mental preparation, because I like knowing who's talking and telling on defense, who gets out or backpedal slow, which linebacker likes to lean into the right just to show that he may blitz or he may disguise his own, which DN is really good with his hands, and which nose tackle is a bull rusher. So it's pretty much, I like to just know my opponent the best way I can. So it's easier for me to help my team and help myself, because I'm one of them players. If I know I'm the guy that they're probably going to target, I'm going to do things just to take them away, just so other people can shine. I'm gonna get my time. It's fine. But I just like knowing I'm out there helping.
Absolutely. I mean, team first type guy. And to be fair, the way you're breaking down tendencies from opposing players, it sounds like a future coach in my mind.
Man, I've heard that a lot of my life. Probably will.
I mean, I'm just saying, you're looking at film like that as a player. Just imagine if your job was to coach and watch film all the time. I mean, you would
60 hours a week I put in on film, bro.
That's insane. That's okay. So maybe there isn't much time to go any further.
Like
great.
if you ask me about the FCF championship, I could tell you probably the last 3 plays exactly how they went, and I'm gonna tell you things that you didn't even know happened in the game. Like, go back to about 10 minutes left in the game. You're going to see he had a post route over the top. He took the dig. If he would have pumped the dig and let that post develop, he has a swing route to the running back. That's a walk-in touchdown.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. So obviously you're paying attention to all the leagues too. Have you looked into the FCF as a player at all?
Yes, I've actually spoke to the owner, Taya Austin, a lot, and it was just money at the time. I just didn't have money to make it down to a tryout now, back down home. If I did have the money, I don't think I don't see a reason why I wouldn't have made it in the FCF.
Absolutely. I mean, being in your home city, I could definitely see a good reason for them to bring you in for that purpose, kind of bring up the fan base. When doing my research, I found something that I'm struggling really hard not to choke up about. I'm not gonna lie. We spoke about my kids early on, so I have a hard time even spitting out this question, but I felt this was important to highlight everything you've been through in your life, because once again, man, the motivation and determination you show is truly unrivaled by any player I've ever met in my life, or any person I've ever met in my life. But during your football career, you actually lost your first child before even truly having a chance to see them live. I mean, how in the world, with this going on, did you continue with life, let alone football? I mean,
we'll just put that all in perspective. We'll just put 2022 in perspective. February 14th, me and my woman's anniversary. Same day I lose my child. 7 p.m. It was crazy. I never knew a heartbeat, or the world could honestly be so quiet. At first, we really didn't know if we were gonna keep the child, but I knew in my mind it was gonna happen, because I wanted to be a father. I come from a broken home. My dad It was very abusive. My mom was very abusive. So I really didn't have that chance to have a best friend or first love. So knowing that I could have my son and be able to raise my best friend and show him the things that I didn't get to have, be able to hold him and nurture him and just see him grow and ask questions and be annoying. I wanted that. I wanted all that deeply. And I can still remember walking in that hospital room and turning the corner. I didn't think I cried. I broke down. I was down on my knees. I was begging to God saying, could have took me, and I could say that wholeheartedly. I was hurt. I was very angry, and I held my son deeply. Sage Xavier Caviness, born February 14th, 7:20 p.m. He already had my hands, had my legs, so he was gonna be tall. He was gonna be a big boy, and it was very hard for me. 2 weeks after, I ended up injuring myself getting ready for a USFL camp tryout with the Michigan Panthers, and tore my Achilles, and that comes from a lot of stress. Right after he passed, I went right to the weight room and cried during my whole workout, as I did before many times, trying to work it out, and I was working myself harder. Father's Day came around, and it was even harder. It was very, very hard for me. I cried a little bit. I still have his ashes up on my dresser, and it was a tough thing. So me getting the opportunity maybe to just show my son up there that, your daddy's not a failure. Just maybe I can make it happen. And I know one day God's gonna bless you with another son. And when he does, I'm gonna hold him even tighter than that one. I'm gonna make sure he knows you have a brother, and we're gonna celebrate him every single time.
Excuse me. I'm apparently a very emotional person.
Oh no, it's all right, bro. I'm holding back tears over here, bro. So it's okay. I don't. Honestly, it was the hardest thing I ever went through my life, and I'm still going through it. And I'm praying at the end of this journey, not, that I find peace, but more so, I find a way to show my son that I'm honoring him.
Well, I think you're doing it, man. I mean, man, I can't even talk at the moment. I hurt for you, dude. I mean, like, I can't imagine going through that.
Thank you, Gene.
And on a personal level, man-to-man level, if you ever need somebody to talk to, man, I'm just a message away. I'll give you my cell phone number if you want it. Call me anytime. You're another level, man. That's all. I mean, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, honestly, I can't say that in any other way.
I never look at it as another level. I look at it as, in 10 years, I'm gonna meet someone that's in my same shoes, same predicament, and I'll be able to help them. I'll be able to know exactly what they're going through, what they're feeling. So in 10 years now, I want to be able to say, I have the answers for someone in my exact same way, but I can't give it to you, but I'm gonna help you get through it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, without too much more emotion, hopefully I can, get over this at the moment. But to me, what you endured with this is something that would break a lesser man, like I just said, I mean, including myself. But here you stand, still staying positive and striving for greatness. I mean, you are one of the most positive people I've ever met. You're constantly building other people up. You're constantly retweeting people who are trying to make it in the league or whatever league it may be, sending out people's highlights. You're not focused on yourself 90% of the time, it seems like. I mean, how have you stayed focused despite taking all these blows that you have from, I mean, what it must feel like a heavyweight bout with life at this point?
As I told you before, Romans 12:12, patient tribulation, rejoice and hope, continuing instant prayer. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how dark it seems, as long as I can still breathe, got a heartbeat, I can still get it. I don't care how old I am. If the NFL give me opportunity at 40, I'm gonna do it. It doesn't matter. It's just the ability to know that I can get up every day and get after it. The ability to know that someone that I haven't met yet is clapping for me. Just the ability to know that I can still just get after it and do it. That is what keeps me focused, because honestly, I could be a failure right now. I could be locked up. I could have kids. I could be working a 9 to 5. I could literally be honestly unmotivated, not positive, not doing anything. I could be a statistic, but instead I'm trying to set an example instead of be an example.
Exactly. That you couldn't have said it better if you tried. So you said something off camera that stuck with me during everything, this whole process of my research on you and everything. And that was, I've always had to make the most of my opportunities. And
that goes into my training. I've been my own personal trainer since I can't remember, and I've just learned. I've taken so much knowledge from people and learning how to eat, how to move, how to recover, and doing that has helped me and prepared me to where it's like a coach's workout is nothing. That's like a morning warm up. My workout is the actual problem. I'll go through a full. If I was at Bethany, we'd have lifts at 6 a.m. We'd have film study about 3:30, 4, have practice at 5, get done at 6, may have a late meeting at 7 or 8. But after that, 5 or 6, while everyone's walking away, I'm on the field running 20 to 25 110s, doing footwork on the ladder. And people can account for that because I'm showing it all over social media. And I'm dropping motivational posts and all that. And a lot of that's what keeps me focused, because that's me battling me at that time. That's me having a conversation with God. That's me telling God, like, this is how bad I want it. And God's like, okay, let's see how much you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Let's see how much you're going to work for it. So it's that, I being up at Bethany, I'm going to touch on it real fast. I was homeless. I was living in a hotel, getting, having to pay crazy out of pocket. I was barely eating. And that caused me having to leave Bethany in the middle of my junior year and chasing the pros. Sadly, COVID hit. I couldn't market myself. I couldn't really do anything. I got picked up for a CFL free agent with the Elks, which is kind of funny. But sadly, borders got closed. I met my boy Dalmo from there. He was a receiver at Purdue. He's now a receiver coach at West Virginia. So any of you young high school athletes watching, please send me your film. I will pass it on to him. But moving on, so forth, it was just like that. I would do anything extra, and I'm going to practices on empty stomachs, with nothing in my stomach, barely sleeping. It was just like one of those times where it's like, are you gonna give up? You gonna quit on yourself? There's times I go back to my hotel room, curl up in a ball and cry, because I'm just wondering, like, yo, am I really doing it? And I had a whole lot of support. It disappeared. It was. I felt at the time I was just being an afterthought, and then I kind of got out my own way and just said, you know what, this is what I want to do. If it's going to be hard, then it's just because it's going to be worth it.
That's very true. One of my favorite songs right now is a song by a band called, I think it's Neffex, Neffex. And it's called, it's only worth it if you work for it. So, I mean, that's a perfect message right here. So,
amen, bro. Amen.
Yeah, exactly. So are you a superstitious person? Do you have any pregame rituals we need to know about?
Yes, I am. I'm a little superstitious. I have to. It's funny, and it's going to be real funny. So basically, if I do not count back from 100 to 1, I feel like I'm going to have a bad game.
Okay.
So during the whole national anthem, you may think I'm listening to it. That's the 100 to 1 countdown. That is the 100 to 1 countdown. If I don't have that, I'm not locked in. I'm not having a good game.
How did that all come about?
When I was playing Little League, I had a coach by the name of Coach Bish, and they gave me this nickname called the Gorilla, because I always used to beat my chest when I make a tackle. So they threw me at running back for the first time, and I was like nervous. I'm like, because I was always talking. I'm like, oh yeah, let me run the ball. I was just talking. I'm a kid, I was having fun. Then they were like, oh, well, we don't got a running backs. Get in there. I'm like, oh no. I'm all like, da-da, and like, I was joking, like, no, I can't do this. Da-da-da. Coach Bish grabs me and he's like, look, 100. I'm like, 100. So he's literally counted that the whole way down until the third quarter started. He's like, how do you feel? I was like, I'm good. He's like, all right, 22 pop. Cool. I went in there, 22 pop, 15 yards. And I felt good. I'm like, oh, I was like, this is easy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you ended up playing running back for the first time in a Little League game, or
game? Mm-hmm. It was right before our playoffs. All the running backs were pretty much down. Like, they were done. Like we pretty much blowing the team out. It was second half, and it was like, hey, like, come on. I was like, all right. I'm thinking, like, he ain't really serious. And he just looked at me like, oh, yeah, get in there. So it was cool. And it was like foreshadowing on what I would be,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're about to talk about yet another unbelievable situation you've faced and overcome, in my personal opinion. So starting with how you were injured in the first place, I want to finally cover the infamous tornado story I talked about in your
Yeah. So basically what happened was I live in Kansas, and during this time it's about tornado. It's like tornado alley. It's like the tornado time. So it's getting a little dark. I really wasn't paying attention to my phone. My lady sister said something like, "Hey, they're talking about a tornado watch." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm thinking like it's not gonna be that bad. We sat through tornadoes. It's cool. So we go outside. It's getting a little darker. I'm like, "All right." Dogs are crying. I'm like, "Okay, just a little different." I get an indicator saying, "Hey, okay, we'll look for cover." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, I'm a little on the fence. Then she gets it. I'm like, "Okay, we gotta go." I just got cleared to be in a shoe. I'm still about 3.5 months removed from surgery. I'm 2 weeks out from even being cleared to jog. We go to we go to the storm shelter, which is right over here at the hospital. I get out too fast trying to get my dogs and myself in there. I feel a pop. Mind you, I don't stop. I still get them all in there because I'm not thinking about myself. And going back on it, I still wouldn't think. But at that time, it was really coming down. Like I couldn't see. I'm about to get blown over. We got 60-mile-per-hour winds. We got trees flying in the air. It's chaos. And I'm just blessed that I was able to get them in there and get them safe. Yes, I'm upset. I hurt myself. But if I look back on it and the type of person I am, I'd make the same decision a million times, a million times, a billion times, a billion times, because I'm worried about someone else and not myself.
Absolutely. I thought it was quite fitting that you were trying to save your dogs. I mean, I'm a huge dog person, so when I heard that, it kind of touched my heart that I was like, man, he was so worried about his dogs that he hurt himself in the process. That's awesome.
Remember my babies, dog. I'll do anything for them.
That's cool, dude. That's super cool. So during this situation, you ultimately endure a setback, as you just mentioned. When are you cleared to be expected to walk again and able to run again?
Basically, I'm in this cast right now, purple cast. I'm looking at it. About 6 weeks, I'll be out. So in 2 weeks, they're gonna. I'm in this position right now. So in 6 weeks, I'm gonna go from here, and then. Well, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna go from here. Another 2 weeks here, then there, and then I'll be back in a walking boot, physical therapy. So basically, I'm looking at September. I'll be back running and training how I want. So if I do get blessed with opportunity, to get drafted or whatever else, I'll be ready by camps or whatever. So I don't see myself really taking long. I did the surgery route the first time, and now I'm doing the natural route. There's a higher chance to re-tear it, but I'm going to bet on myself once again, and I'm going to put faith in my diet and in my training. And as long as I believe I stay consistent and keep on strengthening that, I will be okay. I will lower the risk of tearing it again.
Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. Whoops. Did not mean to put that back on. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
You have a quote on your huddle page that I thought was pretty appropriate. Someday the people who never believed in you will brag about how they met you. Is this a statement that still motivates you to this day?
Every day. Every single day. I even had that on my cap when I graduated from ECC, and it's just testament to I was an afterthought. I was bullied. I was picked on. As I said, I'll touch on. I come from a broken home. I was molested. I was beaten. It was a very tough time in my life. I could have went any direction, and I stayed consistent on what I believed that loved me, and that was football. And so when football happens, I want to be able to give back to those in my same situation. And I just want my success to kind of shine on those that have doubted me. I don't really have to even say anything to them, because I've tried to have a conversation with myself a thousand times on what I would say, what I want to feel. And literally, I just don't think I'd have nothing to say. I just think I'd be okay, because I'm more so worried about what I'm doing and who I can help and who I can touch and who I can inspire and motivate.
Absolutely. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, because I totally forgot to ask, and I can't live with myself if I don't ask. How's your girlfriend doing?
She's okay. She's definitely okay. It's been a battle. It's been hard. But if I could say anything, that woman is my role model, my hero. When it comes to just getting me to workouts, training, knowing that we're battling homelessness, knowing that we could be homeless again by the end of July. It's just been, she's always been like, you know what, we're going to make it. You're going to make it. She's always kept that. And that's one thing I want to do. I want to be able to make it so I can put her through school, take her, travel around the world so she can open up things, do things. I won't be able to give back because she's given me so much, and it would not be fair if I didn't. It'd be a travesty, and I would not be able to ever forgive myself if I don't give back to those that helped me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm sorry that I didn't think about asking that before. I should have. What are your ultimate goals for your career? Is it always just the NFL, or would you be happy with a long career playing football anywhere that will have you?
I mean, ultimately, we would all love to play in the NFL. We'd all love that. And I understand talent, things go on. So honestly, whoever blesses me with opportunity, I'm a ball to the wheels fall off. And if that gets me to a higher league, cool. But right now, honestly, I just want to get my foot in the door. I just want to get my foot in the door and play. I don't care if the Cleveland Browns say, hey, you got to be practice squad for the rest of your life. Cool, I'm in the NFL. I don't care if the CFL, the Red Blacks say, hey, we want you to come up here, be a running back for the next 10 years. Cool, I'm coming. It doesn't matter. Wherever I go, I just want an opportunity in whatever capacity, from practice squad, if I'm a starter, if I'm a second stringer, if I'm special teams, I just want an opportunity. And I'm not picky. I don't care about it. You will never hear me complain about money or anything like that. I will say something about playing time because, we all want to play. We're all competitors. But ultimately, I just want to play the game. I'm just ready to get back to the game that I love.
Understandable. Completely understandable. And I kind of figured that would be your answer, to be honest. Talk to me about how you stay grounded as a player. I mean, sometimes you can feel larger than life as an athlete, and you seem to convey a different attitude completely. I mean, you are the most humble dude. You seem to always just, like I said, you're very positive, very about other people. I mean, how are you able to keep that focus on others, considering the fact that, like I said, as an athlete, sometimes you're larger than life?
Perspective. I look at it. It's funny that I'm saying that because it's honestly just perspective. Looking back on where I was to where I am now, it's honestly just been all perspective. Just been what I've been able to make the best out of things, and that's what kept me grounded. So knowing that in ECC that wouldn't be my final destination, it kept me grounded. Knowing that keep working, someone's going to see you. Going to Bethany, knowing that I'm hungry, this and that, homeless, I know one day I'm not going to be. So it kept me grounded. So looking in perspective, knowing that I could be in a far worse situation than I am now. I could not be doing anything. I could not have a degree. I could not have a car. I could not have anything. I could barely have clothes. That's what keeps me grounded, because it's the little things we take for granted, and we always asking for the big things. No, enjoy the little things. The little things could turn into big things. So that's what keeps me grounded. Never ever reaching for too much, but at the same time, never ever asking for too little.
Makes perfect sense. So is this what motivated you to share the tweet from Tory Lanez, "I'm stepping over what I used to trip on"?
Yes, honestly, because there was a lot of things I used to get jealous or envious seeing other people getting opportunities. I'm like, I'm better than that guy. I did this and that. And then I just started looking like, you know what? How about I just be happy for that guy? And it hit me, honestly, where it's just like, you know what? Yeah, be happy. And it's great. It's great seeing other guys get it. There was things like, oh, coach didn't open up my email. I used to trip over that. No, it's okay. He's probably busy. Or maybe maybe I didn't fit the scheme. It's just things like that. So I just started just kind of taking things with a grain of salt and just kept it moving.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm biased, obviously. Like I told you, I'm a fan of yours. I think you're going to make it one way or another. Somebody's going to give you an opportunity because they're going to see the type of guy you are, without even figuring in your athletic ability. Because honestly, just the fact that you work so hard, you're always in the film room, you're always studying, you're always trying to better yourself. Somebody's going to see that and give you an opportunity. But again, I'm a little biased. So I, of course, am rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So you've been hampered by injury a little bit. How do you continue improving as a player during injury despite not being able to correctly practice or work out?
I mean, I just can't use the one leg, but I use the rest of the body. So I still stay in shape. I can't not be ready. Of course, a lot of mental reps, a lot of mental reps where it's like I watch a lot of film and I'm more so hearing the coaches speak. Brennan Miron, he's the new Texas wide receivers coach. Me and him have been messaging back and forth a lot. He sent me a lot of receiver film, a lot of stuff for me to start looking over, helping myself understanding. He's a great receiver coach. You guys should know him from like Jordan Addison, Xavier Worthy. He's done great things. So been working with him, listening to him. Of course, the footwork king, Brad Lester, the speed genius, Golden Global. There's just so many trainers that I work with and get mental notes and just drills. So it's like I'm just so ready. But mentally, I'm much more better than I was two years ago in this game. Mentally, I'm so much more ahead now. I feel like I'm a coach sometimes, but that's good.
Absolutely. I would venture a guess to say that the game is slowed down for you at this point.
Oh yes, very much now. So it's kind of funny. Like I didn't really think like would it be like the kind of know what you're doing, but now it's like when I'm out there, it's pretty much I kind of know what I'm doing. Like if there's something I miss, it's just me not paying attention. But now so it's pretty easy. It's just going out there executing and doing it to the highest of your ability and being consistent.
Absolutely. Which is pretty impressive strides if you consider the fact that you said you started football at 13. Most guys are starting at like 6 or 7, and they've been playing their entire adult lives. So you've had kind of a shorter time to adjust, and yet we're talking about you as a potential coach or a coach on the field type guy. So that's an impressive change from, in that short amount of time. It's only been about 10 years that you've been playing football, roughly?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yes,
I think Peyton Manning once said that it takes 10,000 hours to perfect something. And it sounds like you've put in all the work to get pretty damn close to that 10,000 hours.
Oh, pretty close. I don't know if I'm there yet.
Well, there's always room to improve, right?
Absolutely.
So obviously you kind of talked about it. I kind of feel like I see where your answer is going to be, but do you believe mental reps are just as important as physical reps?
Yes, 80% of the game is mental. You need to know your opponent. You need to know exactly what you're doing. If you don't watch that film, how can you say you can understand our coverage? How would you be able to know if they're in a spy, a 2-2-3, a 4-3 zone, a 3-5, a 3-3-5? You wouldn't know those things if you didn't pay attention. You wouldn't know, okay, cool, they got an all-state linebacker. We got to watch that guy. Why would you watch an all-state linebacker when he's had a 5-star sophomore who's been on the tear the last 3 games? And you ain't even worried about the safety who, he hasn't had a pick the last 3 games, but have you not seen how many pass breakups he's had? So it's things like that. You got to know your opponents.
Makes perfect sense. So that leads me right into my next question. How do you approach film study of opposing defenses? I mean, we talked about how you're breaking down every position, but kind of talk about it on a more broad spectrum for me.
Monday, Tuesday, I only watch the D line.
Okay.
And then Wednesday, Thursday, linebackers. Friday, Saturday, I'm watching DBs. And then 30 minutes before the game, I got to watch Adrian Peterson. I got to watch his film. I have to. If I don't, it's over with. I have to watch his college and his complete, because that's literally who I model my game after. So I watch a lot of him. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Monday, Tuesdays is D line, because the D line is the start. So you got to know about the stunts, pinches, whenever he's gonna possibly hang him up just to have a blitzing linebacker come in. It's things like that. And then when it comes to linebackers, you got to know who's your dog and who's your rover, who's mainly coming all the time and who's roaming around looking for a pick, playing in coverage, watching the slot, watching the tight end, or even spying on me or spying on the quarterback if he's a duel. And then we go on to the safeties and corners. We got to see how they're playing, because 9 out of 10, that nickel corner's coming for me. He's going to be playing in the box. And then we got to watch the safety, because the strong safety loves to hover around the quarterback, because he knows the quarterback likes to dump off, so he's going to come up and try to hit me or the tight end. So that's things that I have to watch.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you're literally looking at every position on the field, keying on everything every guy does, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I mean, coming from a running back perspective, typically you hear that stuff about quarterbacks because they got to diagnose the play. They need to be able to learn if they need to audible on a given play. But it sounds like you're processing the game at such a higher level that you're seeing all the same things a quarterback is, which for a coaching perspective, that's a huge to have as a player, because if you have your quarterback and your running back and your wide receiver on the same page, it's going to make your offense a whole nother level. I mean,
smartest running back ever to play the game was Marshall Faulk, and that's who I really watch and listen and everything. He is a RB symposium every couple weeks before the season for rookies and some vets and second years. And I always get in there because I'm good friends with Albert Young, Vikings running back, retired, and spoke with him. He gave me a code to get in there, and I just be listening. And he says some really amazing stuff. He said, my first 2 years at San Diego State, I'll tell you that I did this now. He's like, were the hardest adjusting years. After that, he said, you would think I was a quarterback. You'd think I was the coach. Because he said, I dove so much into it. And he said that comes from his running backs coach, wanting him to be smarter, because they would always have a freshman quarterback half the time or a young line. So we always wanted him to be smarter than the opposing opposition they'd be going against. So it was just something that I stuck to, that I really enjoyed.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, if you're going to model your game after anybody, Marshall Faulk, that's a guy to watch for sure. Greatest show on turf. I mean, that's a perfect indication of what can happen when your team's on the same page.
13,396 yards. That's that man.
Exactly. And one of the greatest dual threat backs of all time, in my personal opinion.
He ain't beating my cousin Thurman Thomas. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Cousin, really?
I found that out when I was out in ECC. His mom and we met at a camp and found out that their last name used to be Caviness, just spelled without an I. And we did some search, and come to find out we were distant blood relatives, cousins.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's crazy coincidences. I can't imagine finding out you're related to Thurman Thomas of all people. That's quite the player to be related to, for sure.
And I didn't even know. My running backs coach introduced us, because last year I wanted to meet him whenever I was a freshman at his camp. But the kids were all around. It was so hard to get close. So second year, he meets me, and I guess like my running backs coach would tell him, like, yeah, this is the hardest working kid I got here, to tell him all about me. And then it just worked out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Small world. Another one of those small world coincidences for sure, but that's a whole nother level of small world.
Yes.
So what led you to pursue the XFL in 2023? And is this your first time looking to the XFL? Although we already talked about no.
This is my first time. What really got in there was Mike Mitchell and CJ, honestly. Them two, honestly, talking to them, they are great, incredible guys. Mike needs to get his blue chip Twitter. So if you see this, give Mike a blue chip.
Yeah, for real. How does he not have one?
I don't know. This dude gets information. And I'm just like, yo, why do you not have your blue chip?
Seriously. Like, I mean, I don't like the whole comparison things, but I mean, Mike Mitchell is straight up the Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport of the spring football world.
Yes. And talking to him, he kind of helped me out, because I want to do an interview with him, trying to get my story out, because I'm thinking like maybe that will help gather teams, maybe bring coaches in. And that's when he brought up the XFL. And I believe he passed my information on to CJ, because I reached out to CJ and I was talking to him like, how do I get a hold of XFL members, this and that? He said, I already have your information. And I'm like, you do? I've never spoke to you before. He's like, and then I said it again. He's like, no, I got it. He's like, I don't talk to him, but I have your information. I'm just like, how did you get it? Because I'm just like, I wasn't talking to anyone. And then a week later, the XFL official site hit me up telling me to register and put my name in. So I did. And sadly, I'm unable to make to any showcases due to injury. And I've been messaging the coaches and all that. Of course, I know that they probably won't be able to see it due to showcases and everything going on. I'm just hoping that maybe I get an opportunity, because XFL is something I would like to play. And I'm in Kansas, and I heard that they do have the St. Louis Battlehawks coming back. So I'm not far. And it doesn't even matter about traveling. I would just like an opportunity to just play, because I know I have great talent. I know I can contribute.
Absolutely, man. If I could see you on any team, St. Louis Battlehawks would be awesome. That's the team I root for, actually.
that would be pretty cool.
Absolutely. On another note, Mike's a great guy, and actually, he's a big reason why I reached out to you about an interview. He was like, man, you want a great story to tell? You need to talk to Christian Caviness about his story. His story is unbelievable. And he was not lying. He's a huge fan of yours, man. So I definitely would expect that Mike was the one that passed along the word for sure.
Man, I'm humbled. Mike, if you see this, thank you, brother. Bless you. Love you, man. And we gonna keep on rocking, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm positive he'll see this at some point because he's, like I said, man, he's a huge fan of yours. He had a lot of good things to say about you. And granted, I had already connected with you.
Yes.
I had at some point planned on talking to you about an interview. His push was like, maybe I shouldn't wait because this story sounds amazing. And man, you were every bit billed as exactly as he said. I mean, your story is unbelievable. I can't believe it. Like I said, everything you've been through, your determination and motivation, like I said throughout this interview, is unrivaled. There's nobody like you on this planet, in my personal opinion.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to leave you with one final question, one that I always like to ask, and I'm extremely excited to ask you now after speaking to you about your film study and how you look at everything. So you can play wide receiver full-time. You can play running back. You could probably even line up as a wildcat. I mean, if you were the offensive coordinator and you were designing the offense, where would you play and what scheme would you use to best utilize your talents as a whole?
Oh, you just want to ask a hard question. Okay. If I was an offensive coordinator, I'd probably want to play. If it was an offense that fits me, it would have to be something like kind of like the Chiefs' offense on how they use Tyreek Hill. He's kind of everywhere. And so I would probably say kind of a multi mixing with the West Coast and zone. I definitely want to be in a slot because a slot is almost kind of like a mixture of the running back and receiver. So I probably want to be in a slot just so I'm close to the quarterback and then I can get the ball as much as I can and make the most of my opportunities. And if he ever had the audible and just call me the backfield, cool, I can get that 31, that 35, that 4th and 2. It doesn't matter. I'm a big guy, so I don't mind running through someone. I don't mind jumping over someone, trucking somebody. And then at the same time, if I'm out there at the receiver, I can get a bubble, I can get a slant, I can take him to a post, I can get him a blaze out, a blaze in, whatever you want me to do, whatever I can to help the team win, So that would be huge for me, just being able to move around and show my versatility.
Absolutely. Which is pretty much what I expected from you. I mean, you're one of the most versatile guys I've seen in a while. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense that you kind of move you around a lot.
Yes, sir.
So one more quick question. I swear this is the last one. I'll let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your weekend. You talked about the St. Louis Battlehawks as a potential landing spot for you, given your vicinity. Have you looked into Bruce Gradkowski's offense at all?
Honestly, I honestly haven't.
No worries. I don't think he's ever been a coordinator before, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what he'll do. Former backup and starting quarterback in the NFL, and I don't really know if he's coached a whole lot, so it'll be really interesting to see what happens there.
Absolutely. That is something that I'm eager to. I know if there was a dark horse team that I would like to play for, it would be the team that Hines Ward is on, because the first NFL player I ever spoke to in my life was Hines Ward. Of course, we're from the same city. So, he's from Atlanta, went to Georgia. So it was crazy. I'll never forget. I was at Bell Elementary. I asked him what it felt like to get drafted. And he said, it was a dream. He said, I cried and I hugged my mom. Then I asked him, what it was like to score his first touchdown. He said, you wouldn't think I ran 4.5 at the combine. He said, I felt like I was running so slow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then a few years later, he remembered me and I asked him a couple more questions. It was just crazy. So I was just like, it would be full circle if I ever got a chance to play for him. I'll be like, hey, I don't think you remember me, but we met a few times when I was a kid.
That's awesome, man. Talk about a small world circumstance all over again. Well, I hear Hines Ward will be in San Antonio, so maybe we'll see you in San Antonio at some point.
Hey, whoever knows, man. I'm going with whatever God says. I'm following his lead, and I'm just ready to just play. So whenever I get healthy, I'm ready. I'm pretty much ready now, but in the cast. But whatever I can do to help a team, help an organization, I'll do it. There's nothing that I won't do. I commit to the team. I commit to the way. All I ask is just opportunity,
I know I don't got much film, and that's credible in this world. But all I say is, just give me opportunity, and I'll give you everything I got.
Absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, teams could bring you in right now while you're injured, let you rehab, and assist the coaching staff while you're getting healthy. So, I mean, you're versatile. I mean, you've got a million different ways that you can help a team. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be on a roster right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, Christian, man, once again, I appreciate you so much for coming on. You have an amazing story, and I almost feel like we're going to have a sequel to this because there's a lot more to tell, I'm sure. So
absolutely.
We might have to get together and chop it up again in the future.
Yes, sir, brother. Bless you deeply. Thank you for having me. It's always an honor. It's a pleasure. And I look forward to us talking again in the future.
Absolutely, man. Best of luck. And I look forward to you signing a contract with the XFL here soon.
Oh, man, we're going to leave that in God's hands. And I think right now he's moving them hands.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He is. He's doing his best for you. I guarantee it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother, man. Thank you. Have a glorious and blessed Sunday.
Absolutely. You too, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Once again, I appreciate you so much.
Again, thank you so much for having me. Bless you, sir.
Absolutely. Have a good night. Yeah. All right. So once again, guys, that was Christian Caviness. He is an amazing human being. Like I said, I've said it so many times during this interview. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but this man, what he's overcome in his lifetime is just amazing. Amazing. I spoke about it before, but I don't even think I could process life after what he's been through at certain points in time. And the fact that he not only processes it and he continues to thrive and find positivity in life in itself is inspiring. And I don't think that anybody can watch this entire interview and not want to root for the man they call Boogie.
It's easy to smile when you're making music like this. And the place where I live and the people that I know makes me smile. And let me explain exactly why. Smile on my face when I'm walking in the place. I can feel the hate generate, but I still don't let it phase or slow my pace. Cause great don't fade, remember for the impact I made. And I don't get what was holding me back and holding me back. Man, it happened so fast that when I look back, everything was said and done, one track at a time, drumming like I'm giving it a hell of a run. Till no more flow coming out of my soul, and I don't know where I'ma go after no more shows and worldwide tours. But right now, I'm wanting more and more in a city of stores, on the cover of Source, reading Stat and Gem, on the next best thing, if that's a dream. But think about mine is I'm making mine a reality, cause I'm my words, and I die with my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die by my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die by my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die by my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen, every live for now, not concerned when it ends. Doing this for a while, I know you do it with a smile. Gotta get the front again. I didn't know I could sing either. That shit's funny as hell. Fuck it. Yeah. Come on, Jib. Big smile on my face too. Finish line of sight. Just ran 100 miles in this race. Boom. Where my congratulations? All I see is a bunch of dudes looking around so hateful. They so distasteful, but it's cool cause my crew Tony the Tiger, great dude, fight spitter, got the eye of a tiger, nigga hard up a lion with a flow to inspire, nigga. No time for life, trying to get higher, nigga. Performing red rock and rolling like some tires hit us. Got it on lock and brought some cutters for the wires with us. Guaranteed that we high flies, niggas. And we ain't plays in the game with umpires, niggas. Better watch yourself, color sight, nigga. Better get back, never will retire, nigga. Told them before that I gotta get that fight, nigga. And I go so high, I be go up in outer space. Know what I'm talking about, so you better back when you step to my face. This mean and static, we wreak havoc. Told them before we the baddest at it. And we above the average, yeah, we savage. Fuck the babbage. I live by my words, and I die with my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die by my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die by my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die by my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends. Cause I live by my words, and I die with my pen. Every dip for now, not concerned when it ends.